Hey everybody, this is Michael Mann from Michael Mann Security Services, and this is a podcast dedicated to helping you protect the people and things you love most. And remember, it's about prevention, not response. Today's podcast is about situational awareness and mindset. The goal for today is so when we finish up, you have the tools and resources that are going to allow you to see something before it becomes a problem and be able to respond very, very quickly and avoid that situation. Now, I know I'm the host of this podcast, but today I'm going to step aside and basically learn how to be a guest and let my friend Steven interview me today.
Well, Michael, I love your podcast, and I think it's super needed. We live in a world of crazy times, and so I think anybody who's listening today especially is going to learn a lot because mindset and situational awareness is the topic. And I know that you have a lot to provide for it. Let's just jump in. I'm excited you're in the guest seat today. This will be a lot of fun.
I'm excited.
Host turns into guest. Here we go. Let me throw the easiest possible question at you then. What is situational awareness?
Simply, situational awareness is just understanding what's going on around you. When you get up in the morning, you put your feet on the ground, looking out the window, what's happening? Is the sun out? Is it raining today? What's my front yard look like? As I step out in the garage before I go out and get into my car, is the garage door closed? As I get into my car and drive out, back out of the driveway, what's happening in the neighborhood?
Did I leave the iron plugged in?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. What did I forget? Oh, let me go back and take care of that. That's situational awareness. We do it every day. Everybody. We just don't think about it.
And so when we think about the bigger things of security, right? So protecting our children, protecting our places of work, protecting our places of worship. When we say words like security, we often think of security guards, we think of police officers, we think of the Army, things like that. People really probably don't think about, locking your car door, locking your house. Those are smaller security items kind of. So let's do this then. How do you get that mindset of security without turning into James Bond?
Yeah, sure. How we get that mindset is do something that we do, actually what we were taught when we were very small, which is the use of colors. So there are four very distinct colors that we use that when we think about situational awareness, we can apply, and it makes it very, very easy for us to remember exactly what situational awareness means and how we use that in our everyday environment.
Okay, if you're colorblind, does this still work?
It does.
Okay, so you'll just have to change the colors because they won't be the same.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
Good. So tell us a little bit about these colors then.
Yeah. So just very, very quickly, the colors, they were actually developed by the Department of Defense or the Defense Department back after World War II, back after Pearl Harbor was bombed. And so the Department of Defense or Defense Department used 5 colors. And then somewhere about the 1960s, early 1970s, a guy by the name of Jeff Cooper modified those colors down, or modified that system down to 4 to make it much easier to remember, number 1, and number 2, to take one of those colors out very specifically because that color had to do with we were surprised by something, we weren't able to prevent it, we weren't able to respond and stop a problem. So that's kind of the basics of the colors.
Give us the colors.
Yep. So the colors are white, yellow, orange, and red.
So they're getting progressively darker on the reds. Is this kind of like the forest fire thing where you see Smokey the Bear if you go into the Smoky Mountains and it's got like the level of fire possibilities, and the higher up it is, the darker the color's getting.
Absolutely,
same kind of thing.
Absolutely, I describe it more as like it's like a heat map, right?
Yes.
So it starts off very, very cold, and as things start to progress, that the temperature starts to go up.
All right, so walk us through from white to red.
Yep. So white means that we are totally unaware of our surroundings. It's a place where I joke with people about
my
this.
4-year-old.
Yeah. Well, actually, they're pretty aware of what's going on, especially when they want something. But yeah, white is I don't know what's happening around me. Like I'm totally oblivious to my surroundings. And I tell people all the time, you really are never oblivious unless you're asleep. And then you should probably have the alarm on, right? The house alarm. There should be, some sort of detection method to wake you up if there's a noise.
Your smart device is always watching, Michael.
Exactly. So yeah, white is I'm just totally oblivious to what's happening. I don't know what's in front of me, what's behind me, what's happening in the house. I don't know. That's condition white. And we never leave our house in condition white.
So get out of white.
Yep.
and move into
Yellow.
okay.
So yellow is where we live, and a lot of times. So as described this, get away from thinking about James Bond, but actually, this is how James Bond lives, and there's nothing like super exciting about it. My heart rate is not up, my blood pressure isn't out the roof. Yellow just means that I'm in relaxed alert. I know what's in front of me, what's next to me, what's behind me. Years ago, I used to do a lot of training for police officers, and I would when I would teach what we in the old days we called an officer survival class, which is teaching police officers how to survive a deadly force confrontation. I would tell police officers this was patrol mode. So when you're in your patrol car and you stop at a red light, you should be looking to your left and right and behind you, in front of you. We can do the same thing. That's condition yellow. I just know what's around me.
Generically aware.
Yeah, and I'm not excited about it. Doesn't take any. It doesn't take a whole lot of effort at all.
You don't have to really think about it.
No, we just do it.
Okay, but we don't want to stay there, do we?
Well, we can.
Is that where we want to be?
Well, that's where we want to live, right?
Okay, we want to live there.
We want to live there.
But there are two other colors.
Yeah. So as we get into orange, understand that in yellow, part of situational awareness, understanding what's going on around us, also means that we understand our environment. Most people every day go to the same places. We get up in the morning.
In the same way, too.
Yeah, exactly.
Same roads, same streets, yeah.
Same roads, same streets.
Same time.
Yeah, same time. So we know what our house is supposed to look like. We know what the neighborhood's supposed to look like. We know what the workplace looks like. That's called baseline. That is the norm for everything that happens in those locations. And so as we understand that, and some people will go, I really don't know what that's supposed to look like. Yeah, you do, because you're there every day. And so understanding the norm for the location, your house, the school, you work, helps us to stay in yellow. Now, when something happens or we hear something that's outside that norm, that's when we go into condition orange. Orange means there is a very specific alert. It means that now something has changed. It doesn't necessarily mean that I have to do anything different, except maybe just pay a little bit better attention. Maybe I need to ask a question. Maybe I just need to take a maybe more detailed look around.
Walk us through a situation, a real life example of where you're living in yellow and you're just kind of aware of what's going on. Walk us through a situation where you would enter into an orange mindset.
Yeah. I'd pull up in my driveway, open the garage, pull my car in the garage, get out, get the groceries out. As I open the garage door to go into my den or kitchen, depending on how your house is laid out, everything's normal. Everything looks exactly the way it looks every day. And then all of a sudden I smell smoke. That's condition orange.
So now your senses are heightened.
Yes.
And you're going, something's not normal.
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yep.
So that's where you go from yellow to orange, when things aren't normal.
Correct.
All right. How do you go from orange to red?
Red, by definition, means actions required. A long time ago, somebody said that means fight, but that may not necessarily, that may not be the case for everybody. So red just means I need to do something. So to go back to the example that we were talking about just a second ago, I smell smoke. Now as I come around the corner and I look in the kitchen, I see that the stove is on fire. I see flames. Now I need to do something. I need to call the fire department. I need to throw my groceries down and grab the fire extinguisher. I need to do something. Action is now required.
Gotcha.
That's red.
And so it's the more urgent. It's the red. It's urgent.
Yeah, it's urgent.
Pay attention.
Yeah, it's as hot as it gets.
It's
right?
as hot as it gets. Well, that's good. Well, see, I think that's very helpful. And you said that was developed after Pearl Harbor.
It was, correct.
Very cool. So let's have a normal, somebody listening right now is just a normal person. They don't have any interest in security unless there's something bad going on, right?
Yeah.
Just a regular, normal person. They're living in maybe white, hopefully yellow, right?
Yeah.
Give us some major threats that we don't think about that we probably should just generically place into the yellow mindset. Things that we don't typically think about, but we should.
Yeah. So like if you're a parent, something you already do it, you just don't realize it. When your toddler is sitting at the table eating, your toddler choking on something, right? So if you're in condition yellow at all times, you're paying attention to that. So you already do this. When the child starts to choke or you look and you see that they're having problems speaking or can't breathe, automatically you go into orange and
Right.
then red,
Boom, you're going to the hospital.
Yeah. Or like you're picking up the phone, calling poison control, or you're doing something that you learned somewhere to get that item that might be stuck in the
CPR, maybe.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, so choking control or a choking response, whatever. So that's something that citizens or that moms and dads do every day. You just don't realize it.
Okay, so aside from family security, things that are happening inside the dinner table or the smoke that you might, when you walk in the garage, what are some things society-wise that are security issues that we can do things about, that we can be aware about to help increase our own security?
Absolutely.
Obviously not like a nuclear bomb. If a nuclear bomb goes off, we're done. We're not even going to have time to finish this sentence, But there are some things.
Yeah. So let's talk about the workplace. What's the? I'll ask you a question real quick. We'll switch roles.
No, I'm the host of your podcast today, Mike.
So at the workplace, what is everybody worried about today?
Today?
Yeah, today. What's everybody worried about at the workplace?
I imagine, if security-wise,
Yeah.
An active shooter.
Yes, of course, the active shooter.
Okay.
So in the United States of
The
America,
guy who keeps everything pent in and then
exactly
releases it.
Yes, and hopefully you gave him candy, right?
Yeah.
And so the active shooter. So the focus in the United States, especially in the Western world, is responding. Right? So if you look at a lot of things a lot of training and information that's spread about active shooter in the workplace, it's all about the police and guns and how to pick up a fire extinguisher and knock a gun out of those active shooters' hand. These things that they talk about.
It's all response.
Yeah, it's all response. So some things in the workplace that everybody can look for every day is, number one, understand the baseline, understand the way that everybody acts, and just taking a look at some things as you come inside the workplace that might indicate there might be a workplace violence issue or problem, like a disgruntled employee. And that's going to be maybe someone that you know every day that all of a sudden their behavior changes. Where maybe they were a mild mannered person in the past, now they, for whatever reason, they
Personality's changed a bit.
Yeah, personality's changed. They start to talk aggressively. They start to overtly talk about how they want something bad to happen to their boss or your boss.
So this is going from yellow to orange. You're just kind of
this-
paying a little bit more attention.
Yeah, that doesn't necessarily mean that someone's going to come in and shoot the office up.
Right.
But if you start to see those changes in behavior, that's some things I want to pay attention to. Or the guy that doesn't work in the workplace or gal, and you notice that they're coming into places where they don't belong. Maybe the office, they don't work there. They're asked a question, they ignore the question. You've seen them there more than once. They don't work there. There's not a reason for them to be in the location they're in. That's something I would pay attention to, because these are things that happen prior to those events sometimes.
Well, this is all good.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for being a guest on your podcast today.
Yeah, hey, thank you so much. I enjoyed it.
This has been fun. I'm Steven. I got to host today. If you want to learn more about security, you can visit michaelmannsecurityservices.com. Also check him out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Also, I believe you got a YouTube channel as well. Mike, this has been a lot of fun. Thanks so much.
Thank you.